Have you ever sat down to start something important, only to find yourself scrolling through your phone or reorganizing your desk for the 10th time? Why is it that, despite knowing how urgent something is, we still put it off? Before we commence, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This channel is all about helping you overcome the obstacles holding you back so you can reach your full potential. Don't miss out. Let me tell you a story about a man named James. James had a dream. He wanted to write a book. Not just any book, a novel he'd been dreaming about for years. He had the plot in his head, the characters, even the opening line. But every time he sat down to write, something came up. A Netflix show to finish, emails to reply to, or sometimes, just the overwhelming feeling of not knowing where to start. Weeks turned into months, and that book? It stayed locked in his head, gathering dust in the corners of his mind. One day, James saw an old classmate online who just published her novel. She was celebrating, sharing her journey of hard work and consistency. And suddenly, James realized the only thing holding him back wasn't time, or talent, or resources. It was him. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt like James, stuck and frustrated by your own inaction, you're not alone. Procrastination doesn't just delay tasks, it drains us of our potential. It keeps us stuck in a loop of frustration and self-doubt, feeding on our fear of failure, perfectionism, or even the overwhelming size of the task ahead. But here's the truth. Procrastination isn't a permanent state. It's a habit, a behavior. And like any habit, it can be changed. Think about the last thing you procrastinated on. Was it because you didn't care about it? Probably not. Most of the time, we procrastinate on things that do matter to us because they feel too big or too risky. We're scared of failing, or we convince ourselves we'll have more time later. The problem is, later is often just a comforting lie. So, how do you break the cycle? How do you stop putting things off and finally take action? 1. Start small. Start now. James's breakthrough came when he stopped focusing on writing a whole novel and just aimed for one sentence a day. Think about that thing you've been putting off. What's the smallest step you can take right now? Maybe it's opening a blank document. Maybe it's setting a 5-minute timer and just beginning. Here's the secret. Small steps build momentum. And once you start, it's much easier to keep going. So, ask yourself, what's one tiny action you can take right now? 2. Reframe your fear of failure. A lot of procrastination comes from the fear of not being good enough. What if it doesn't turn out the way I want? Here's the thing. Failing is better than not trying at all. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about learning and growing. James used to worry his writing wouldn't be good enough. But one day, he told himself, even a bad first draft is better than no draft. By giving himself permission to be imperfect, he freed himself from the fear that was holding him back. 3. Remove distractions. Let's be honest, distractions are everywhere. Social media, emails, endless notifications, they're all designed to pull your attention away. If you want to stop procrastinating, you have to be intentional about your environment. When James wrote, he turned off his phone, closed unnecessary tabs, and set up a space where he could focus. Think about what distracts you the most and take steps to minimize it. 4. Create accountability. James joined a writers group where everyone shared their daily progress. Suddenly, he wasn't alone in his journey. Find someone who can hold you accountable, a friend, a mentor, or even a community. 5. Visualize the end goal. Imagine how you'll feel once you've accomplished what you've been avoiding. The relief, the pride, the sense of achievement. Let that vision motivate you to take the first step today. James eventually finished his book. It wasn't easy, and it certainly wasn't perfect. But you know what? It was done. And that opened doors he didn't even know existed. an offer from a publisher, speaking engagements, and most importantly, the pride of knowing he followed through. So, what's the one thing you've been putting off? What's stopping you from starting today? Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The first step is small, but it's the most important one. On that note, thank you for watching, and see you next time.